Good morning, Madam Preetha Ram. This is Fabian Ramirez, a Mexican student at the École Normale Supérieure de Lyon in France from the Master Information Architecture. Madam Preetha Ram, would you mind introducing yourself, please?
Sure. I'm Preetha Ram. I'm the CEO of OpenStudy. I'm also a co-founder. I also am on leave from Emory University as their Associate Dean for Science. So good morning, whatever time it is in your country. Hello.
Good morning. I would like you, I would like to know the context of the development of OpenStudy.com. Could you please tell me about the difficulties you encountered with teaching and learning methods in creating this website?
Okay, sure. My background is in problem-based learning. So as you know, that is peer-to-peer learning and collaboration. And I find this a very, very powerful tool to engage and motivate students. And then as I moved from small classes where PBL is very easy to do to large classes like my general chemistry courses, I began to explore the possibility of doing PBL online. And as I was developing problem-based learning environments online, I found that the best part of it was the online peer collaborations. This was always a great way to engage students in learning from each other. And I found that when students learn from each other, then both students learn, they're more motivated, they enjoy the learning. So I find the difficulties with that are that it's, most faculty who know about collaborative learning are very comfortable with that, but there are some people who would be a little uncomfortable that students are learning from each other. So that is one of the difficulties. The other difficulties I encountered when I was developing this site, OpenStudy, was trying to figure out what is the right balance of online collaboration with the social media and gamification. So how do I balance all of this out? So that took a bit of time to develop and learn.
Okay, and I would like to go to the next question. How do you know that you're supplying the appropriate tools in your site in order to facilitate the learning process for users?
We listen very closely to our users. So we have many mechanisms of listening to them. So that gives us a sense of how do we, what should we develop next? What tools should be offered? For example, we launched with audio facilities on the site, but the user said it really wasn't very helpful. And then we had a large collaborative notepad, which again they said wasn't very useful. On the other hand, the users wanted a math equation editor. So we have a math equation editor. And then they said, well, when you're writing equations in chemistry or drawing diagrams in biology, we need a drawing tool. So we have a drawing tool now. The other thing we do is we always are running surveys. And the question then is, how do we know that the users are getting more engaged or more motivated? And so we work with research studies that are conducted by organizations like Georgia Tech, ASU, and others that perform the studies on our site to learn whether students are learning, when do they learn better, how do they learn. So we keep the process of development is a constant and ongoing one. So we listen to our users, and we work with research studies.
Okay, nice, interesting. And I would like to ask you also, how do you think the role of teachers is going to evolve in the upcoming years in a world full of web applications and web services in general, such as your site or the massive open online course offered by Campus Network, EDX, iTunes University, for example?
I think the role of teachers is constantly changing. I think it's safe to say that the role of a teacher has changed from the 13th century to where we are today. And of course, it's going to change. I do believe very firmly that we always will need teachers. It's not like teachers are going to go away because we have MOOCs. The real question is, and you asked this question very well, which is how is it going to change? So when you have content available everywhere, when you have free courses, when a learner could conceivably just go and learn what he wanted to learn by himself, the question is what is the role of the teacher? So I think the role of a teacher will move to being one of a mentor, an advisor, someone who curates the content. So if a student wants to learn, um, you know, ancient history, well, there may be plenty of sites that teach that, but what's the right place for a student to learn? And a teacher, it will be the right person to say, okay, do this, learn this from here because this is better for you. So that's the role of a curator and a content guide. So which is the right place for this student, for Bob, but not for Amy? So I think teachers can help and should help students create a very personalized learning path. It's kind of about a path. So as you go on this journey to become the best historian, what should you take? When should you take? How should you take it? Where should you take it from? So that guide is ultimately going to be the teacher. So as they guide the students on these paths, they will also help them stay focused. A learning journey shouldn't be a lonely journey, but it should be a journey with the teacher, with your other fellow students. And so a teacher plays a very important role in this. And they have to think about education holistically. I think the second part is we have to rely on teachers to teach our students to be good citizens. It's about educating them holistically, not just about content, but about what is the right place for a person in today's society. How to be an ethical person, how to be a moral person. Teachers always have a very strong role to play in that, and I think their role in this will keep increasing. So I think there's two roles, mentor, advisor, curator, content guide, helping them on their learning path, but also holistic education, and things. So those are the two roles, I think, which are very, very important for teachers to play.
Well, we're going in the future how it's going to develop, how it's going to change, as you has described, Madam Ram. Now, I would like to know how will e-learning applications change our way of conceiving face-to-face education?
So I think there's always going to be a place for face-to-face, but there's not enough bricks and mortars face-to-face institutions for all the learners in the world. So there always will be a growing number of students who will have to rely on online education to get their education needs. But it doesn't have to be completely not face-to-face. So I think the face-to-face will move to an online face-to-face, like you and I are talking. You are somewhere in France and I'm in California, and still we're able to talk face-to-face. So the technologies to do that are increasing in a very fast pace. And what will happen then is a student will be able to interact face-to-face with his teacher, but also with the other students around him. And the technologies for that aren't very far. So we're going to see a future where it will be online and distant, but also face-to-face through technology. That will be the reality for many, many, many students in the future.
Before to finish this interview, there is a topic very important and interesting for me and the rest of the master students. In
Mm-hmm.
The topic is the financial support. What is the business model? What is the business model did you apply in developing a website like OpenStudy? How is your site financially supported?
Great question. It's always a challenge because when you want to do things in education, you really have to think very deeply. We're fortunate in the US that we have a lot of good funding for education, including companies and for-profits. So we got started with funding from the National Science Foundation and then the National Institutes of Health, and they got us to we got a lot of research done with them and to develop some of the tools that you're seeing. And then we came to the valley, we moved to the valley after the story that I told you. I decided that there was some teeth to it and I really would like to come and grow this company. And the way we decided to do that was to come to the valley, to Silicon Valley, and get some funding. So we were fortunate, we got funding from a VC, and that helped us develop or take OpenStudy from a research project to the product that you're seeing right now. Currently, we are funded by ads. You'll see ads on the site. And because we have the volume, we're able to sustain ourselves on ad revenues. The business model that we're going towards will be released later on in December, and it'll be a freemium model where most everything that you see is free and will stay free, but we'll add on special features and services for people that are willing to pay for them. So the freemium features, the freemium the payers, subscribers, for example, will help sustain our models. So come by in December, check it out again. I hope you become one of our paying users because a few of us can support the site so that remains free for the millions. So
Oh, well, I want to thank you, Madam Preetha Ram, for your time, and that was a pleasure to talk with you.
thank you, Fabian, and good luck on what you're doing and on your education and studies. And if you're ever here in the California area, come by and say hello to us.
Thank you very much.